It's okay, we're almost there.
I'm scared.
I know, but you're safe with me.
The boarding door sighs shut, and Leela Harper smooths her navy scarf like it can hold her together. 32, a flight attendant with a practiced smile. She walks the aisle of Flight 218 as if it's a stage she's memorized. "Welcome aboard," she says, voice bright, eyes tired. Outside, Chicago winter presses against the windows. Inside, the cabin hums with headphones, coffee, and small talk. Lila's phone is off, but the weight of unread messages sits in her pocket anyway. In the galley, she counts plastic cups with shaky fingers. Her coworker Jessa watches her too long blink and forced grin. "You okay?" Jessa asks softly. Lila nods too fast. "Just didn't sleep." The truth is heavier: overdue rent, a mom's medical bills, and a brother who keeps promising he'll get clean. The intercom chimes. The captain's voice is calm, almost comforting. Lila inhales. Another flight, another day. She pretends. She isn't falling apart. Halfway down the aisle, she notices the boy in 14B, skinny. Hoodie sleeves swallowing his hands, eyes fixed on the seat back in front of him like it's a lifeline. No parent beside him, no tablet, no snack, nothing but a worn backpack at his feet. Lila kneels, lowering her voice. "Hey there, sweetheart. You traveling alone?" The boy nods once. "Name's Ethan," he whispers. His cheeks are pale, his lips cracked. Lila's heart does that old, familiar ache. She checks his wristband, an accompanied minor. But the paperwork is messy. A smudged phone number, a misspelled last name. Ethan holds out a folded note like it might burn him. "My mom said, give this to someone nice." Lila opens it carefully. The handwriting is rushed, desperate. "Please, keep him safe. I'm trying. I'm so sorry." Leela's throat tightens. She glances at the empty seat beside him, the untouched safety card. The way he flinches when someone laughs too loud. During beverage service, Ethan doesn't ask for soda. He asks for water, then stares at it like he's not sure it's allowed. Lila slips him extra crackers, a small kindness she pretends is routine. When she returns, she finds him rubbing his eyes hard, trying to hide tears behind his hoodie. "It's okay," she whispers. "Flying can feel big." Ethan swallows. "I don't know where I'm going," he says, voice breaking on the last word. Lila's training says, "Follow procedure." Her heart says, "Don't let go." She steps into the galley and calls the number on the form from the crew phone. It rings and rings, then clicks to voicemail. She tries again. Nothing. Jessa peers at her, concern sharpening. "Lila, we can flag it to ground staff." Lila nods, but her stomach twists. What if nobody's there? Jessa exhales. Then we do what we always do. We hand him off. Lila stares at Ethan through the crack of the curtain. He looks like a kid holding his breath underwater. The turbulence hits over Iowa like a sudden tantrum from the sky. Overhead. Bins rattle, passengers gasp, and Ethan grabs the armrest so hard his knuckles turn white. Lila straps into her jump seat, eyes on the cabin, but her gaze keeps returning to 1B. When the shaking settles, she unbuckles and walks to him. "You did great," she tells him, crouching close. Ethan's voice is barely there. "My mom said don't cry, but I keep doing it." Lila's smile trembles. Crying means you're still trying. After landing, the cabin empties in a tide of coats and rolling bags. Ethan stays frozen, like standing up might undo him. Lila waits with him, kneeling. So she's eye level. "We're gonna find who's picking you up," she promises. At the gate, a thin man in a wrinkled jacket approaches, eyes darting too fast. "I'm here for the kid," he says. Lila asks for ID. He hesitates. "I left it in the car." Ethan's body stiffens. Lila's pulse quickens. Training returns like a shield. Lila signals the gate agent, voice steady while her insides scream. The man's smile cracks. "Come on, lady, I'm in a hurry." Leela keeps her hand lightly on Ethan's shoulder. "We need proper identification," she repeats. The man's tone sharpens, impatient and slick. Ethan's eyes flick up, pleading. Lila steps between them without thinking. Security arrives, and the man backs away, muttering curses under his breath before disappearing into the crowd. The gate agent looks at Leela like she just dodged something terrible. Leela's hands won't stop shaking. The airline supervisor congratulates her in a quiet office. "You followed protocol? Good job." But the words land wrong to clean. For what could have happened? Ethan sits beside her, shoulders hunched, clutching his backpack like a shield. Lila calls the number again. Voicemail. She tries a second number found in the note. This one rings. Then a woman answers, breathless. "Hello," Lila explains. There's a pause, then a sob. "I'm his aunt," the woman cries. I'm stuck on the highway. I'm coming." Leela looks at Ethan. "She's coming," she says gently. Ethan exhales like he's been holding the entire flight in his lungs. While they wait, Ethan tells her pieces of a story in broken sentences. His mom works nights. Sometimes she forgets to eat. Sometimes men come to their apartment who talk too loud. "She said I'd be safer," Ethan whispers, staring at the carpet. Lila's chest tightens with rage at a world that asks children to be brave. She gives him a granola bar from her purse and watches him bite it like it's the first real food in days. When her shift ends, she should go home. Instead, she sits in the chair beside him and stays. The aunt arrives with red eyes and trembling hands, wrapping Ethan in a fierce hug that looks like salvation. "Thank you," she tells Lila, voice raw. "You have no idea." The supervisor nods, ready to close the file, but Lila can't. She asks questions the way a mother would, not an employee. "Where is his mom right now?" The aunt's face crumples. She's in trouble. She's trying to get help. Lila feels something open inside her, a door she didn't know existed. She watches Ethan cling to his aunt, still afraid the ground will vanish. That night, Lila rides the train home and can't stop seeing Ethan's small hands gripping the armrests. Her apartment is quiet, except for the radiator's hiss. On her table sits a stack of bills and a photo of her own mom in a hospital gown, smiling bravely for the camera. Lila opens her laptop with a kind of urgency that scares her. She searches missing kids reports. She searches trafficking warning signs. She searches support services. Each click feels like pulling a thread. And then she realizes she's been trained to save people at 30,000 feet, but nobody trained her for the ground. Next morning, she shows up at a community center with coffee in one hand and fear in the other. A counselor named Marisol listens as Leela spills everything: Ethan, the fake pickup, the note. Marisol doesn't look shocked. She looks tired, like she's seen too much. "You did the right thing," Marisol says. But it won't end with one kid. Lila's stomach drops. "What can I do?" Marisol slides a volunteer form across the desk. It can be the person someone runs into when they're out of options. Lila signs before she can talk herself out of it. Days blur into flights and phone calls. Lila serves pretzels at cruising altitude and answers hotline texts on layovers. She learns how to speak gently to panic, how to listen without promising what she can't deliver. Her brother calls, slurring, asking for money. She says no for the first time. He curses and hangs up. She cries in an airport bathroom, mascara running like a confession. The next day, she wires that would-be bail money to her mother's clinic. Instead, the guilt hurts, but it's cleaner than enabling. Lila starts choosing what love looks like. 2 weeks later, Lila gets a message from Marisol. "Ethan's aunt wants to meet you." Lila agrees, heart pounding like she's heading into turbulence again. They meet at a diner near the airport's sticky menus, Morning Light. The Aunt Tasha slides a drawing across the table. It's a plane, a small boy, and a woman with wings. "Where her arms should be." "He drew you," Tasha says, eyes shining. Lila swallows hard. "How is he?" Tasha hesitates. "Better. But his mom is missing." The air in the booth turns heavy. Lila doesn't sleep that night. She calls every resource she can find. She files reports, gives statements, and connects Tasha with advocates. She wants to do more, to hunt down every shadow. But Marisol reminds her, "You can't outrun a system with just your heart." Leela stares at her uniform hanging on the closet door. It used to represent escape travel, distance, a way to outrun her own problems. Now, it feels like armor. She decides to use her airline connections to spread awareness, posters, staff trainings, a donation drive. If the sky is where she's strongest, she'll build a bridge from there. The airline's PR team loves her story at first. Hero flight attendant saves child. But when Lila asks to add hotline numbers to boarding passes, when she pushes for mandatory training, when she refuses to let it be a feel-good headline, the room turns colder. We have liability concerns, an executive says, smiling without warmth. Lila's hands clench. A child almost walked away with a stranger in our terminal, she says, voice steady. If liability is your biggest fear, you've never met a scared kid. The meeting ends with polite promises and no real action. Leela walks out feeling smaller and angrier. On a rainy evening, Leela receives a call from Tasha. Her voice cracks. They found her, she whispers, Ethan's mom. Lila's breath catches. The details are brief, mercifully vague, but the grief is loud enough to fill the silence. Lila sinks to the kitchen floor, phone pressed to her ear, tears dripping, onto unpaid bills. She thinks of the note. I'm trying. I'm so sorry. She imagines a woman at the edge of her own strength, sending her son towards safety like a prayer. Lila covers her mouth and sobs until her ribs ache at the memorial. Ethan stands in a too big black suit, holding Tasha's hand. Lila stays near, the back unsure she belongs. Ethan spots her and slips away from the crowd, walking straight to her like the aisle is still between them. He holds out a folded paper, another drawing. This one shows a heart inside a plain window shining. You kept me, he whispers. Lila kneels, tears shimmering. Your mom did, she says, voice trembling. Ethan shakes his head. No, he insists. You stayed. Leela pulls him into a gentle hug, and in that moment, what she did next breaks her heart, because it also rebuilds it.